Hi everybody, it's Grace. Welcome to Eating Peace this week. So it's not really an unknown idea that there's hidden sort of thoughts and structures and maybe negative or, as they say, limiting beliefs or ideas that I feel afraid or powerless or bored or something, that these emotional experiences about my contact with other people or reality or where I'm going and just how I interact with the world, that some sort of stress-related ideas about how I see life is very closely linked to how I eat when I'm eating off balance. I'm adapting to something. I'm out of order with my eating. The regular order, I suppose, being that I get hungry and I eat something, and then when I'm full, I stop. And then I wait until I'm hungry again to eat. And food becomes uninteresting in the gaps in between when I'm not hungry. And then food begins to become interesting again when I'm getting hungrier. And then it slows down and things don't taste as good and it becomes less interesting as I get full, and then I'm not interested in all. And it just sort of fades and comes and goes like waves on a beach or like the tide coming in and out. But that seems to be the natural way of it. And this disordered way happens when I've got other things going on. I mean, this is not a new idea. Emotional eating, compulsive eating. Eating out of feeling a sense of some strong feeling within the body, within the heart. But it is also not new that people will say they can't really figure out what it is they're thinking or what it is that they're believing that's driving this. Sometimes I have found that's because there's a long gap between kind of an original, a place that you felt triggered or a wounding or something that alarmed you, something you felt afraid about, and then a bit of time goes by. There's like pushing that memory under the rug, keeping that at bay, holding it back, and then moving along through your life, going about your day-to-day activities. And then later, when there's a break in all that, when you have sort of some downtime, is when all of a sudden here comes some of the things that have disturbed you maybe for years. They have this chance to come up because you're not doing anything. You don't have anything on the schedule. You've got some empty time. You've got silence. So your relationship with silence is a little disturbing because all of a sudden these memories and these feelings and ideas come up. When there's long gaps between how you felt hurt by people or your experience in life, sometimes it's very traumatic. And there's long gaps between that and then your experience of food and eating now. You might have to go back and sort of dig into your past a little bit. One interesting way to do this, which is very counterintuitive, but give it a shot, see if it works for you, is to consider a very funny thing. What is bad about being thin and successful? Like those people that have no eating issues whatsoever and then just eat in balance or exercise well or are at the gym a lot or are pro athletes or whoever it is that you think of with admiration, who has their act together, in your opinion, around food and eating and exercise and movement. Those people, is there anything you don't like about them? Whether it's a sense of competition or judgment or what do they have that you don't? You can really consider that. What do they get? There was this fantastic piece of work that Byron Katie did with a young woman that I've gotten to see on video. It was from quite some time ago. And this woman was being told by her grandmother that she was too fat. And her grandmother was also too fat. So this woman had this view of herself, I'm too fat. And Katie asked her, well, what do thin people get that you don't get? And she said, boyfriends. Often that is a very quick, fast, rapid place that we think of as I will have contact with another human being. I'll have people interested in me. I'll have people drawn to me. I won't have to go out and work hard to make contact with others. People will love me if I am thin, if I am appealing, if I'm attractive. I'll be approved of by my parents or by my partner or by people that I'm attracted to myself out in the world. That's what I will get. I will get approval, appreciation, and love. And then you get to see, really? Do you really think you'll have that if you become thin? If you no longer have disordered eating? If you are successful and you've got it all squared away and balanced out, are you sure that that's what you'll feel like? And it's really funny that we think, I'm going to hate myself and I'm going to work hard. I'm going to beat myself to a pulp or control myself or do torturous exercise, go to the gym, stay on diets, try to work with my willpower, not really enjoying myself. I have to go through this non-enjoyment in order to get to this enjoyment. I have to suffer now so that later I can feel good. And it doesn't really work that way. You can't really just suddenly skip to, there you are at the right weight and you're still miserable, you know, or you notice this has nothing to do in many ways with the body. The body will follow your mind. You can't really fix the body first and have the mind adjust, you know, perfectly and become peaceful after the body. You know, the body, I've talked to 1,000 people, and then I myself have had a very good body, athletic body, cross-country runner body, and been completely miserable, suicidal. So that is not the answer. Really, peace begins with the mind. Really, peace begins with accessing a capacity to question your stressful thinking. The work is the best and most simple way I know how to do that. So go look at those perfect people that are doing what you wish you could do and what you're sure that they have that you don't. And write down all your thoughts about them. What do you want? What should they do? Or what should you do? What shouldn't they be doing? What do you need from them? See what it is you would have if you had this perfect body, if you had this whole eating thing squared away, and what that would mean about you. And then you can take that to inquiry, because it's very stressful to have to rely and depend on a body looking a certain way for you to be happy. And it's very stressful for you to have to depend on even your eating being a certain way in order for you to be happy. But it's a great clue. It's a great exercise. So it's almost like the opposite. We're looking at why it is bad to be thin and to not eat. Like if all of a sudden the option to overeat or compulsively eat or emotionally eat was completely taken from you, what would be bad about that? A lot of people will think they can't think of anything that would be bad about that. It would only be good. It'd be just fantastic. This whole eating thing is just like a big mistake, one gigantic error. It's all me too. It's my fault. There must be something wrong with me. What if that's not true? What if you dig a little, sink down into something below the surface there, wondering what would drive this compulsive emotional need to eat when it's not really for fuel and it's not that balanced, natural way? Maybe there's some good reason within you. And then if you bring that reason out to the surface, you can take a look a little closer. So try that. Write in your journal all that could be difficult and troubling about having what you think, having that perfect body, or what you think you would have if you had thinness. A very funny thing that I discovered when I did this work is that I thought if I had the perfect body and never binge ate, that I'd also be rich all of a sudden because I'd probably be a Hollywood movie star. And it was like so funny to me that those two somehow went together, and it was kind of absurd. And then I thought, and why do I think somebody who's a movie star has a better life than I have? Because what do I know? I've heard of many miserable Hollywood movie stars, but not that we're making, deciding that we even know what other people are thinking. But what a funny belief that that's so deeply conditioned that if I look like that, if my body is like that in that way, then I'll be happy. I know it's not true. So just play with it, write in your journal, explore, flipping to the opposite instead of just this constant idea that the way I am with food is wrong. What if it's right in some weird way and you get to find out and explore? I find that as you become more aware of what's driving you and what it's trying to help, it's got this message that's trying to help, this overeating or doing anything weird with food, even starving yourself. If it's trying to help you handle something and you see it better, then the awareness itself will help you stop doing that. All right, let me know how it goes. Take care.